most of the time I am at ATGATT. I would be a hypocrite and lying to you if I said I never have in the past and I never will in the future sometimes take a little more of a risk. Today's vlog is on something that is a very sensitive topic to a lot of riders. In fact, in the past few months I've had a few comments on old videos where I have ridden without gloves on. One of them I think was in 44 degrees Celsius and I couldn't do it. It was just, I don't know what it is, I could put the rest of it on, but having leather over my hands, black leather over my hands in 44 Celsius, it just got to be overwhelming. Another one was when I picked Stella up here from her first service and I'd actually forgotten my gloves, so I took a risk. I know a lot of people were very upset with that and I got feedback on that, but nevertheless it was kind of a situation I had to do. My ride was gone, so did that. And another one was a helmet review of my Scorpion helmet that I did a couple of years ago. Yeah, I had gone out without gloves on that day too. I have no excuse for that one. Today's weather and the fact that I, in my last vlog, just told you about a couple of books, or 5 books, my top 5 motorcycle books that I've read recently. One of those books was by a Mr. Lewis, Essays on Motorcycles. One of his essays, the last one, is Dancing with the Devil, and it's about the risks that we all take when we ride bikes. Now, we try to minimize them most of the time, but there are various studies out there that tell you that a lot of guys that ride bikes are risk takers in other areas of their lives. They do other things that would be considered by someone of a perhaps more restrained, conservative, dare I say, shrewish nature to be outlandish, whereas for motorcyclists they're just part and parcel of what they do. That we're constantly having this little argument within ourselves about how much are we going to bet today. But every time we go on a bike we bet a chip, and sometimes we'll bet the whole stack. What it means is you're riding perhaps beyond the limits of the law, perhaps beyond the limits of yourself. Highly unlikely you're beyond the limits of a current modern day motorcycle, because frankly I don't know many people that can ride those to their limits. They are excellent machines, far more capable than most of us riders, but nevertheless you are breaking the boundaries of probably what we would entitle loosely, and I know there's some debate on what this means, but common sense. You're taking risks, more risks than you usually do. And one of those things is to do with ATGATT. Most of the time I am at ATGATT. I would be a hypocrite and lying to you if I said I never have in the past and I never will in the future sometimes take a little more of a risk. And that comes when the temperature gets higher, or, and I'll be honest here, when I just feel like, and I give in to that temptation, I just feel like going out in something that isn't protective, whether it be bare legs, whether it be a t-shirt. I very rarely do it. I haven't done a t-shirt for many years, but bare legs I did not so long ago. It was a short journey. I know, they're the ones that get you. You're over familiar with the roads. I'm an example apparently to other people, although believe you know, I don't have that many subscribers, so I'm not really an example to many people. I know that a few people are going to give me a good old talking to, and so I should get a talking to for contemplating doing things like that. But I tell you, to be honest, I can't really help it. Occasionally that voice wins and I go out and for instance I went swimming the other day in the ocean, and I decided, well, it's so close that I'm just going to pop down in my swimming shorts, go for a swim and come back. Ludicrous, but nevertheless there was something inside me, but I just wanted to do it, and I gave in to my want. There's a child in all of us, and sometimes I think the child gets out. I've never quite stamped him out, and I suspect if I did I wouldn't ride motorcycles. I'm a little bit rich here, but I'm going to say that more than a few of you out there have this ongoing battle with yourself about, oh, it's a hot day, should I just wear this instead of the full ATGATT? And then some of you are completely dedicated to making sure you are responsible, and as Jack Lewis said, get home at night to make sure, there's someone in his shirt sleeves, right? To make sure that you get the kiss and the cuddle and that everyone is safe and secure, and we all know that. The devil and the angel. How many of you, and be honest, you know, yes, you're probably going to get judged, like I do, by someone who drops a comment. Don't react to it. Sometimes I have, but mostly I don't. The last one I got about my gloves was, no gloves? Really? you know, and I did feel like saying, well, actually the camera only showed me from the waist up, so I could tell you that I was also wearing completely nothing from the waist down, and that my Majesticals and dongle was slapping me repeatedly in the forehead. But, you know, I didn't. Tempting as it might have been. Very naughty. But don't react. There's no point. They're not going to listen to you. They're just going to promote a fight. But so all I'm asking is honesty. Come on, guys. How do you ride? What are you riding with? When it gets really hot, what sacrifices do you make to your personal safety in order to stay comfortable? It's a reality out there. Now, some of you will say, I never sacrifice, and I totally respect that. Absolutely. Try not, though, to sermonize on some of the people who ride with less gear than you. It's probably not going to change them. It may well anger them. And we all are individuals, and we all have our own rights to ride that way. You can call it irresponsible. The person themselves is going to pay for it, and perhaps their family, and that's where their responsibility lies, not to us. I guess if you're a taxpayer in Canada, the medical bills could impact your premium, but I doubt it. There are so few motorcyclists here compared with most other places that I think we're pretty immune to that spike. The insurance rates are another thing, of course, but that's a story for another time. So leave your comments below, and thanks again for listening. I've thrown caution to the wind, and I've been honest with you. There are times I go out with less than responsible clothing. Very rare. Don't do it often. And when I do, I will say this, I do feel vulnerable, and it always ends up as don't really feel comfortable doing this, not as good as I thought it would be, won't do it. And I would always wear a helmet. I just couldn't do it. Now I know people are going to say to me, well, skin grafts, you know, can be just as deadly and certainly just as painful. And I know I have a friend of mine who has had many skin grafts from an accident he had 20 years ago on a Honda CB750 in California, and he won't touch a bike again. Leave your comments below. Thanks for listening, guys. Really appreciate it. That is cool. The alien back of the seat. Oh, I have to get behind that guy. Poor but classy Zeph. Nice. It's an old, really old V-dub of some sort. A cool looking vehicle if I've ever seen one. He's got an alien hanging in the back. Some weird music playing, and his beard is genuinely white grey and about down to his belly button. I've got to just quickly zip past him here before he turns. There he goes. Look at him. Awesome. I like it.
Once again, thanks for watching, everyone. If this is the first time you've watched, please consider subscribing. I do product reviews, motorcycle reviews, off-road and on-road vlogs, as well as tours. Don't forget to follow me on social media, that's Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, and to like, and especially, I'm begging you here folks, subscribe. This is the BlueMarbleRider, out.